Hi, I'm Ben Ferguson, and welcome to a special Christmas edition of your AMAC Weekly News. First up, the White House has a holiday message for you, one filled with grim warnings and even death. Why did they do it? We'll talk about that in just a moment. Up next, if you didn't already know, the Biden White House believes you are unpatriotic if you don't get vaccinated. Yeah, they actually said it. And AMAC CEO Rebecca Weber is here to talk about all of these topics, plus give you a special Christmas message from all of us here at AMAC. But first, a quick reminder, if you haven't hit the share button on this video, please do that right now so more people can get to see this program. Your AMAC Weekly News starts right now. So it is the week of celebration of the birth of Christ. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. And we are honored to have AMAC CEO Rebecca Weber here with us to talk about the shocking big stories of the week. Now, this is certainly a time where we should be celebrating with family and friends. And it's a time when you should be thinking about your family and friends, especially as so many are being hit with a pandemic. But it was very odd this week when we actually had the White House come out and talk about doom and gloom with their holiday message for Americans, not what you're used to seeing. I want you to take a look at this, Rebecca, and then I want to get your reaction to what President Biden had to say to Americans about Christmas. Take a look.
The unvaccinated have a significantly higher risk of ending up in a hospital or even dying. Almost everyone who has died from COVID-19 in the past many months has been unvaccinated. Unvaccinated. But if you're among the majority of Americans who are fully vaccinated, and especially if you've gotten the booster shot, that third shot, you have much less reason to worry. I know some Americans are wondering if you can safely celebrate the holidays with your family and friends. The answer is yes, you can. If you and those you celebrate with are vaccinated, particularly if you've gotten your booster shot. If you are vaccinated and follow the precautions that we all know well, you should feel comfortable celebrating Christmas and the holidays as you planned it. You know, you've done the right thing. You can enjoy the holiday season.
There's your President of the United States of America bringing us all together, telling you that if you are the unvaccinated ones in America, well, you're probably going to be hospitalized and you're probably going to die. And that's not the only time that he directed such a deadly message towards unvaccinated Americans. Take a look at this.
For unvaccinated, we are looking at a winter of severe illness and death for unvaccinated. For themselves, their families, and the hospitals they'll soon overwhelm.
Rebecca, I've seen a lot of holiday messages from a lot of presidents from both parties. I have never heard such a somber message from the supposed leader of the free world, telling Americans that you pretty much deserve what you get if you don't comply with what we are mandating on you. Were you as shocked as I was that he went this way right before Christmas?
I sure was, Ben, really shocked. And he has done this more than once. He's done it a couple times very recently. And, you know, we have to remember that Christmas really reaffirms grace and faith and the importance of families. And I think that these voices that urge more federal mandates, they're really spreading fear. And we know here at AMAC that approach, selling fear, is so unhealthy and is really very ineffective. Think about it. During World War II, we didn't sell war bonds by saying, you know, buy these war bonds or your loved ones will die. Instead, we appealed to free choice. And I think when we encourage people to take the flu shot, we don't tell people, get it or you're going to lose your job. We don't mandate that people wash their hands and use good hygiene. But of course, we encourage that. And so I really want to remind people that this is a time of hope. This is a time for courage, not fear. And people ought to use common sense and choose courage over fear. And I think courage really is the ability to take action when we feel fear. So it's not to say that we don't feel fearful, but it's really funny, Ben, when I was down in Florida, it's a whole different tune down there compared to New York, the state that I'm in. So listen more to yourself, less to your governor, make common sense choices, but don't let these messages that we're hearing out of the White House scare you. Enjoy your Christmas with loved ones. That's our message here at AMAC.
It really was shocking how even Dr. Fauci came out this week, and this is multiple holidays over multiple years now, where they're basically saying either we're going to force you to get vaccinated or you should tell your family to no longer gather. In other words, they're encouraging families to actually say to other family members, you're not welcome in our home unless you have complied to multiple shots, a booster, and a mask. I would argue that is anti-family.
And we know that that's not true. We know that people who are vaccinated, unfortunately, are still coming down with COVID and various variants. We do know that natural immunity exists, which we're not hearing a lot about. We encourage the vaccine, of course, here at AMAC, but we encourage more that you do what's right between you and your doctor and that you make the choices that are right for you. But remember the spirit of Christmas. This is a time of hope. This is a time for us to gather with our loved ones and our families. And let's remember that and encourage one another. And another note, too, I'm sure a lot of us are going to be sitting around the table with people who've got differing views.
No doubt.
Which I'm doing a lot, Ben, is I'm listening and I'm asking questions, listening and asking questions, and almost acting like a third party observer in the room. There's no sense to really get down and dirty and fight over these beautiful, this beautiful Christmas season. Be with your family, take precautions, enjoy the holiday, and have hope. We see so much good stuff coming in 2022, especially these new drugs that they're talking about. More and more people will have access to greater effective medications that will hopefully get us out of this quickly. We're watching, paying attention, and we know that we're not going to let those voices intimidate us or scare us.
There's something else that's so shocking to me is the fact that this is clearly a rollout going into the new year from this administration, that you need to comply or we are going to question your patriotism. Even the president came out and directly appealed to the American people saying it is your patriotic duty to get vaccinated. Take a look at this.
And so everybody talks about freedom and not to have a shot or have a test. Well, guess what? So how about patriotism? How about making sure that you're vaccinated so you do not spread the disease to anybody else? What about that? What's the big deal?
Let's just be very clear. Joe Biden is flat out telling Americans that his violation of freedom is no big deal. And this is the same message coming from liberal cities across the nation. We have seen a new lockdown that's going to take place in Boston. We're seeing what's happening in New York, where you are. And liberal leaders are jumping on board with this, saying that if you are an American and you refuse to comply with what we demand, you are unpatriotic and basically you are walking around trying to kill people. I cannot believe that this is their message this holiday season, and it was done from multiple people over multiple days leading up to Christmas. This was not an accident. I think this is deliberate.
Unfortunately, it almost is easy to believe because we're talking about a president who essentially is taking Christ out of Christmas. He's just had a very different style, and I think he believes that people are going to buy it. Americans are smart. Americans are resilient, and we understand very, very few people have died over the new variant. We know that that's a scientific fact. We also understand that we're probably going to have to live with this for a very, very long time. So what do? We don't curl up in fear. We don't lock down and listen to those people that aren't making much sense at all. Instead, we use common sense. We do the right thing. We have a conversation with our doctor, but we don't give up on the things that we cherish, on our traditional values, the love that we have for family and friends. So I'm encouraging people, do the right thing. Check with your doctor. Of course, if you're not feeling good, you don't want to infect other people, but come on. I mean, I want to say to Biden, come on, man, what's the matter with you?
Speaking of come on, man, if there's any blessing that has come out of this last year with Biden inflation and everything else that's going on with our economy, with these mandates that are coming down, with people losing their jobs over the vaccines, is that so many AMAC members have gotten, as I say, out of their chair, off the couch, off the sidelines, off the bench, and have gotten involved with AMAC and AMAC Action. And I want to talk about this because the numbers that we are seeing are unprecedented of AMAC members getting in the game, volunteering, becoming delegates, and organizing where they live.
We are so blessed, and I'm very proud of those AMAC members that have really taken so much of their personal time. It's not hard. It's pretty easy. We make it very easy. We show you what to do. These are AMAC members who have said they've contacted AMAC Action via amacaction.org, and they've enlisted to be a delegate or a chapter leader. And these folks, essentially what they are is they're an extension of our AMAC's advocacy efforts in Washington, D.C. And their work on this grassroots level is paramount to our success on Capitol Hill. And these chapter leaders, they really understand that they generate the kind of gathering that allows AMAC, people like me and other leadership here at AMAC, to understand what issues are most important to you. These meetings, we teach you how to have a meeting. They go such a long way in letting people know that really what they believe is shared by the majority of Americans. And we educate as well, Ben. We educate, we facilitate that education, we provide videos, we discuss the local issues, the national issues. I want to say thank you. I want to thank our folks listening who have stood up, stepped up, and volunteered their time as an AMAC delegate or chapter leader. I am so proud of them. And leadership in Washington has reached out to me and has said that because of their efforts, things have happened. We've made a lot happen in 2021, and we're excited for 2022.
You know, the number of emails, the number of phone calls, the number of petitions that have been signed by AMAC members, I feel comfortable saying, based on what I've seen, this is by far the most engaged year in AMAC history of members really getting in the fight and standing up for their rights. And AMAC is here to help you organize and help you do just that. And that may be the best thing that's come out of a really tough year for so many Americans. And we're not going to stop in 2022. That is obvious. We are just getting going. And so make sure you look at your AMAC magazine. Make sure you look at the emails. Make sure that you're checking the website and looking at the correspondence, because the team that you put together, Rebecca, and around you is engaged like I've never seen before. And I think that's something that everybody should take away from today, is that we are organized now better than we ever have been, and we are standing up for our rights.
That's right. And we just need more members, because when we go to Washington, when we go to Capitol Hill and we say we've got 2.4 million members, they listen. But imagine the work that we can do with 5 million members, 7 million, or 10 million members. It really does make a difference. Our muscle is getting bigger and bigger thanks to each and every AMAC member who joins. For $16, you're saving steep on discounts and savings. You're getting an AMAC magazine, which you won't get anywhere else. We're talking about the news that you don't see in mainstream media, Ben. So thank you for that opportunity to remind people and thank people for all that they're doing, because we are really saving America person by person, bit by bit. We're doing so much good.
Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on AMAC Weekly News. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I'm sorry you're stuck in New York with all the rules there. You should have gone back down to Florida before Christmas. I'm just saying. But seriously, Merry Christmas. Thank you for everything that you and your family are doing, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Same to you, Ben. Merry Christmas.
That's it for this edition of your AMAC Weekly News. As I just said, Merry Christmas to each and every one of you that are watching. Remember, become a member of AMAC if you've not. If you haven't renewed your membership, renew your membership. Check all the resources that we're putting out there. Look at the posts on social media and make sure you get in the fight and share those. I'm Ben Ferguson. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you back next week for our next AMAC Weekly News.